Hey guys, it's Evan. I just want to show off this quick little tool I made using Google Sheets. This will be down in the description if you want to use it yourself. It's super helpful. I'm just going to be quick with this and show off some of the things it can do. This is an initiative tracker, and I think the only thing you really need to know beforehand is this top part is for your heroes, your player characters, and the bottom part's for your enemies. So let's go ahead and just generate a few people real quick. So let's say there's a barbarian, a cleric, and a fighter in your group, okay? And they all have, their armor classes, and then comes your health that we can do on this sheet. Super easy. So let's say that here's where you're going to enter your total health right here in this area of, we'll say that the barbarian has 84 health and the cleric has 40, fighter has 60. Um, and for now, let's come down and we'll add it just anyway. Say there's a goblin and a shark for some reason. Um, and you could enter their information the same kind of way. I'm not going to worry about it right now, but you could. But let's say that the goblin is going to go ahead and deal damage to the barbarian. There's this handy damage column here labeled DMG. And let's say the goblin does 14 damage to the guy. Um, as you can see, maybe you missed it, it was at 84 health, the barbarian right here. But when the goblin did damage, it automatically reduced it. That's because there's a formula inputted to automatically do the math for you. Super easy. And you can do that multiple times. Maybe it gets dealt another 12 damage or something. And that can go all the way into the negatives in case you want to calculate like big damage. See if that barbarian gets instantly killed or something. Uh, handy little tool here. Save you a lot of time of adding stuff up. Um, Cool. So now here's the effects column, where I like to just, write down, maybe the barbarian's blinded, simple enough. Concentration tab is also pretty simple. I just like to keep track if my spellcasters are concentrating on anything, keep easier tabs on them. So let's say the cleric maybe is cast somehow, they've cast invisibility or some other concentration spell. Additionally, maybe your spellcaster wants to do a saving throw on an enemy or something, and you're constantly having to ask them what their DC is. You don't have to worry about that with this tool. All you have to do is go in and type in what there is, and you can just quickly look, and you won't even have to bother asking. Saves a lot of time that way. And this last column is kind of personal preference. I like to keep track of the passive scores that are important to the game. Um, Perception, investigation, and insight are my favorite three, but you can put here whatever exactly you want as a note or leave it blank if you like it simpler. So this brings me to the most probably important part of the tool. The thing that makes it the easiest is the initiative, which is normally something that can be a little hard to keep track of um, and keep the order. So let's just go ahead and type in some random numbers for our party and for the two enemies we have. Um, and it's all sort of out of order. And if you had a lot more enemies, it'd be even harder to keep track of. You're going to skip over people and they're going to call you out on it, and it's just going to break the flow of combat. So let's just not get it mixed up and start out with a clean slate. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here and click on the A, which is going to highlight this entire column, which is very important. Right click on it and go down the sort sheet Z to A. And it's going to auto order all this stuff for you, which is super helpful. And if you're wanting for some reason to put it back into the correct order, you can just come over to the right of the sheet and find this initiative reset that I've made. Uh, right click it the same as you did before, hit sort sheet Z to A once more, and over here it's all fixed up right and well. Okay, so let's say you don't want to, worry about going in here and once combat is done, deleting all the initiatives, all the enemies, all the damage dealt. Let's say you want to like be able to just easily get rid of all that stuff I just did. Um, so the easiest way to do that is to have something with all your party members, all your heroes, the things that are not going to change that much on the sheet, okay? And label this bottom one something like campaign main or master document, something to work as a template. So this is kind of your template, and what you can do is you can right click on it and go to duplicate, and now you have a second one, and maybe you can make a goblin encounter out of this again or something, or spiders or whatever. And you can go through, you can mess it up, you can put in all the enemies you want, whatever they might be, and enter all their stats, get it all messy, let it get messed up and stuff. And by the end of it, you don't want to really worry about resetting the initiative. You don't want to really worry about um, doing any of the deleting of the stuff. You just want to be able to get rid of it and start over fresh. It's super easy because now you can just either delete it or just go back to the main one and duplicate it again whenever you want to make a new encounter. Super simple like that. Um, Super handy feature on Google Sheets for this. Uh, and one last thing I want to point your attention to that's a good little tool to have at your disposal is this damage calculator. Because, yeah, sometimes it's a little hard to add up damage, especially when multiple attacks are being made uh, and you can't really keep up. So, what you could do is go through and let's say the first hit is 24, and the second hit does like 18 damage, and then the last hit does um, like 21. Some weird numbers, hard to calculate fast, and this will do it for you. So now all you have to do is take the total and enter it into that damage tab uh, from earlier. And this can make it a lot easier, and you can use this calculator for all kinds of little simple math, save you a bit of time. It can get a little bit stressful doing math in the middle of combat. Um, so that way you don't make mistakes or take too long and disrupt the flow. This calculator can be a very handy tool if you feel like you're going to get overwhelmed. Um, Last thing I have here is just a bit of a round counter. I just keep changing it per round. Not everyone counts out their rounds, but I tend to do that myself. Um, so yeah, I'm going to clean this up and leave it in the description so anyone can freely use it. Super easy, super helpful tool. I especially think it's good for people who are doing kind of like a home game or online game using computers um, or iPads or whatnot. Just anything that you can pull up Google Sheets onto. Super handy tool. Very much recommend this. Has definitely changed the ease of combat for me. But yeah, well, that's it. That's it. Have a good one.